question. Were the people who live on Gardner informed that they were going to lose parking? The response I have written down, they were made aware of a plan, of a project, but admittedly by Bob Chung, who is the staff person, they were not told about losing parking. Now, one would think since the mayor asked the question, got the answer. Councilmember Meister asked the same question, got the answer. Councilmember Heilman asked the same question, got the same answer. One would think the council members would say, let's wait to get input. Let's choose option B, which is just putting in sharrows for the time being. Let's hear from the community, and then let's take a vote about losing the parking. No, Mayor Erickson, Seppi Shine, and Chelsea Byers, the three of them hearing that, voted to approve this anyway. So my concern for the residents, for my city, for me living here is I want my voice to be heard when it's not just about painting a rainbow across them. So today we want to gather your names, we want you to be informed, and we want to be able to hear both sides. But
hi everybody.
Hi Celia.
I've been in the neighborhood for 60 years. I'm 62.
Okay.
I live with my mom. I'm disabled. My mom's 85 years old.
Yeah.
God bless her. She puts me under the table. But the fact that they want to do this to us when we don't have enough parking already is absolutely insane. And the only way we can stop it is as a community. So we all need to get together and take care of this. We have to look out for each other because obviously the city council's not.
well, we have an exception, if I may interrupt.
Absolutely.
Lauren Meister is here.
All right. Sanity.
No, she's wonderful. Hi, Lauren.
You know, all I can say is we asked the questions. Howman and I asked the questions. I asked Bob Chung very specifically, were the residents of Gardner notified about this option specifically before this meeting? And the answer was no. So I, basically said, why don't we postpone that piece of this approval until such time that they are told what's happening, and as you know, that didn't happen. So
When's the next meeting that we can all show up?
you could show up at the next council meeting on Monday, what is the day? April 7th. What's the Monday? 18th. April 18th at public comment and speak about it. If you're getting signatures, bring that as well. And then my understanding is it will have to come back to us for financial approval. And so at that time, I would say that would be absolutely everyone should show up and say this cannot happen.
Yes.
And just a
problem because we have the flashing stop sign.
right.
They don't stop for the stop sign. They don't stop for pedestrians in the crosswalk. We're going to have a bunch of dead bike riders on Gardner because they're not going to stop for them. Absolutely not.
There's no one who bikes here.
If you saw how many accidents we've had or near misses, we've got camera. She's got a camera, we've got a camera on that corner. The sheriff's department blows the stop sign. The lack of respect at that intersection is negative.
I've been hit 3 times in that intersection in 12 years.
I would love for someone to email me that at
3 times.
weho.org so that I can bring up again. I know that people have brought up about that stop sign. And you have several people here who are on the Public Safety Commission who will, I'm sure, bring it up at their next meeting.
Great.
But email me and I'll give you my card, because then I will loop everybody in that needs to be looped in on that in terms of the sheriffs, et cetera.
Yeah, absolutely. And to that point,
Okay.
when the sheriffs were pulling that stop frequently,
It's the next meeting is the 15th. I was just
Monday,
told.
April 15th, 6 p.m.
May I just see a show of hands of those people who live on Gardner? Okay, I'm gonna hold your hands. Or actually, I was gonna put you in a
Actually,
group.
I want to get everybody together so we can, because this is about numbers of people showing up.
And I just wanted to clarify one thing on the Fountain Avenue business. At the meeting where we discussed Fountain, what was decided was instead of a bike lane pilot, which would have cost us millions of dollars for just a pilot, I suggested that we have a streetscape review. In other words, to look at things holistically, the whole street, because we have sidewalks that do not meet ADA, those requirements, and if they change anything, they're going to have to fix that. That's required. If you do anything to the road, that has to be fixed. So, to look at it holistically, what the ADA requirements and the sidewalks look like, what the street will look like, how many driveways. I mean, we couldn't even get an answer how many driveways are on Fountain that this is even feasible, right? So by doing a streetscape, there'll be more input from the community, and hopefully we will be able to look at it holistically. But I will tell you that every time staff talks about it, they talk about the bike lane on Fountain, which just makes me irate, and I have to correct them and say, no, we decided on a streetscape plan that we were going to look at this from a more holistic, perspective. So just remember that is not a done deal, and your voice is going to be very, very important when we do that stuff.
I believe that Councilmember Meister also pointed out that until
you have two voices going at once here.
I believe Councilmember Meister, you also pointed out on the night of that Fountain fiasco that there were 150 parking spaces they were losing, and where were those people going to park?
Right.
And the city's suggestion was, from La Cienega, they could park in the parking lot at Plummer Park.
What?
Except
You're gonna Uber to your home?
Again, it's not a well thought out plan.
Right.
So that's why, when we had the opportunity, I was able to, convince other council members to just say, let's do the streetscape so that we really make Fountain what it needs to be.
And yet,
right for the community.
At that last meeting on the 18th, when you asked the staff person, 22 spaces lost on Gardner is significant. What's going to happen? And Bob Chung said, well, and it's going to be worse when we do that to Fountain. So then Mayor Erickson said, don't put the cart before the horse kind of thing. But they're all talking as if it's a
that's
done
what
deal.
I was saying. Staff was talking as if Fountain was a done deal, and it is not a done deal. But we need your voices, and we need you to be very, very involved from this point forward. Because the only thing they don't listen to me. They'll not listen to an individual council member. There are special interest groups that are pushing for this. There's the bike coalition, who I love. I love the coalition. They took me on a bike ride. I thought I was going to die on Fountain. I totally understand the issues, okay? But they are a strong coalition for really, in the scheme of things, very few stakeholders that are actually using these roads.
Well,
so that,
can I say something?
and also move LA. There's all you have to do is look at who is supporting those people, and you will know who the special interest groups are that are supporting this idea.
How are we?
I head the West Hollywood Bicycle Coalition. Many people are aware of us, but obviously not everybody. And we work on behalf of bicyclists, primarily safety of bicyclists in West Hollywood and surrounding areas around West Hollywood. And I just want to say that there are a lot of false rumors circulating around this, but to address Kathy's point specifically, the primary purpose of this meeting, I'd just like to let everybody know what the city has done, and then second, what it hasn't done. What it has done on this, because this is something as an organization we follow closely. Not all the residents want to do that. I know that. I am a local resident. I lived on Vista, south of Santa Monica. I know it's a different universe down there, but nevertheless, pretty close for over 10 years. I know the neighborhood. I know this part of Gardner. I know Kathy, I know Stephanie. And I feel like Daniel and the Lions Den of this group. Lionesses, but I think everybody's pretty mild.
That's the thing. Personally, I welcome the Kevins. Just the way we were trying to save the park, we welcomed hearing the other side. Otherwise, you know, you're deaf. So we welcome you.
Okay. The city has had at least 6 meetings on this project. There's been an in-person meeting. There have been 2 Zoom meetings, starting during the pandemic when you had to do Zoom. There have been 2 commission meetings, finally council. So, by the city's current definition of outreach, they have been doing what they usually do. Now, I tend to agree that when it comes to a major change, not painting the crosswalks as was mentioned, but a major change, this will be a significant change to the streetscape. If the city should implement some procedure to inform the local neighborhood. They do that for property developments. How many neighborhood meetings have you been to?
0.
I've been to them. They do that for installing traffic circles and traffic lumps. Everybody knows it's coming to our local meetings. There are other examples. So it would be best, and I would certainly support personally, improving outreach that may require direction from a certain authority to tell the city for this kind of major streetscape, you can do better. And I tend to agree with that. With regard to some of the false facts, I'm very much a numbers-oriented person. I know that Lauren is a numbers person. We want to keep the facts straight. I keep seeing this comment that Gardner Street is going to lose over half its parking. Well, that only applied in the staff report to Gardner north of Lexington. South of Lexington, there are currently 35 parking places. I've looked, I've counted, and they're, because of the conversion from angled to parallel, one side of the street, to make room for bike lanes, there'll be a loss of 3. So half of Gardner is less than 10%. So I really don't want to hear all of Gardner's.
Which side?
Okay, currently, this isn't a done deal. Currently, the plan is for bike lanes from Willoughby all the way up to Fountain, connect 2 different paths, and it's going to be the west side currently from
it's not just
Willoughby to Lexington.
It's not just 3
The
spaces,
reason-
though, isn't it?
No, it's more.
It's everybody's driveway.
Kevin's not the enemy.
I'm sensitive to that, and that's difficult to quantitate. What I've done is to
The driveway.
Bikes together. I ride a bike.
Just-
No bikes together.
let me tell you what can be good news for everybody.
Not doing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be good news.
So I'll tell you from the outset, as you probably know, I support the bike lanes. There's not enough room to keep all of the angled parking, both sides of the street, make room for bike lanes. That's conversations go on. We have a lot of support out in the community for doing just that. But with regard to
I have a question.
how much you will lose, let me give you some good news.
I have a question.
Let me give you some good news first. The staff, for some reason, were proposed reducing from angle to parallel on the west side up to Lexington. The reason they do that is because there are far fewer angled parking places on the west side. It minimizes the impact greatly to choose the west side. There are a lot more angled parking places on Gardner on the east side than the west side. So that's part of the reason. Secondly,
That's not true.
but there's a problem that makes it worse than it should be. From Lexington north, and I don't know why they did this. They said, well, you can either have the bike lanes come up and stop, have nothing to Fountain. That was one option. Lauren will remember. Others of us with the meeting will remember. Can you hear me?
Barely.
Sorry, let me get closer. for some reason, staff said, well, how do you keep everything, no bike lanes, which we as an organization oppose, lots of other people do, but that's a separate issue like Kathy says. Or, I don't know why they did this, we're going to convert all of the Hagel parking on both sides of the street. Totally unnecessary. There's no reason. You don't have to do that to make room. If you only do it on the east side of the street, you won't lose 22 places.
So Kevin,
It'll go down to 8. And I've communicated with them about this. They're talking to engineers. I expect an update to come back soon.